Hello, scholars. Welcome back to Learning Tales. Today, we're going to be dealing with a poem written by the famous poetess of India, Sarojini Naidu. Let us see what all are we going to cover today. We are first going to see a brief introduction where we're going to see the themes of the poem. Then we're going to see the summary of stanza 1, 2, 3, and 4 each in a detailed manner. So, without a further ado, let's get started. For the overview of the poem, we have around four themes, which are the major themes. First, the stages of a woman's life. Sarojini Naidu has very beautifully portrayed the life of a woman into three stages: maidenhood, marriage, and motherhood. In maidenhood, she is naive. In marriage, she enters a new stage of life, and in motherhood, she bears the responsibilities that nature has provided. All of these are going to be studied in detail soon. Then we have cultural and traditional values. Belonging from India, she was very rooted. Sarojini Naidu was very rooted to her culture. As you can see in every stanza, in every excerpt of the poem, you will see the importance of bangles because bangles played an important role not only in the attire of women in those times or even today, but they also play a big role in the emotional mindset of a woman. A woman dressed traditionally feels complete when she includes bangles in her attire. So they are not just circles of glass, they are emotions in themselves. Then we have femininity and beauty, which has been portrayed, showed, highlighted beautifully. She celebrates the grace of a woman, the charm she carries with her, and how emotional Indian women are. She uses vivid imagery, different instances to portray this. She shows how a woman is a perfect blend of internal and external beauty. Then we have joy and sacrifice, which is again dealing with the beautiful life of a woman, how her duality allows to balance the natural cycle of the world, you may say. How she manages to sacrifice her needs for others' wants and her wants for others' needs. So that was all for the introduction. Now we will move on to the first stanza. For the first stanza, we are going to dive into the poetic devices, then the word meanings, and then the summary. First, we have the poetic devices. Alliteration is used in to the temple. Here, the sound of t, is being repeated. We ignore the here as we usually do in almost all literary devices dealing with consonants and vowels. Now, we have a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is a poetic device in which the author, speaker, poetess, or poet questions people, either in a sarcastic way sometimes. Here it is in a celebrative manner. Sarojini Naidu is celebrating the chance of peddlers. We have metaphor used, which is the comparison of two things without the use of as and like. Here we are comparing bangles to rainbow tinted circles of life and lustrous tokens of radiant lives. Let's quickly see the meanings of important words here. Tinted means with color added, a slight color added to something. Bangles are tinted. You may see purple bangles. They are tinted with the color of purple. Then we have lustrous, which means shining and smooth. If you hold a bangle in your hand, the texture is very smooth and it shines, it glints brightly. Radiant means brilliant or glowing in a manner like such. Moving on to the very important part of the poem, the summaries. The poem starts with the chants of peddlers who try to attract customers with their extraordinary skills to sell bangles. Now the bangles glint to entice women. This means that the bangles are shining. Bangles are shining in order to attract women. The word entice means to attract. Now if you look at the stanza closely, you'll see that Sarojini Naidu has used shining clothes. She's not just used it for the sake of words, but she has put a lot of thought in it. She allows us to paint a picture of the streets. She allows us to paint a picture of how bangles are put in stacks on carts. And if you imagine it, you will be easily able to do so. Bangles have been referred to as shining loads here as they are luminous. The poetess creates a visual of them being stacked when she uses the word loads to describe the scene. Further, we have imagery suggesting that these bangles are emblematic to the radiance of a rainbow. Just like a rainbow has many colors, it has a variety, an array of colors, so do the bangles have. And when seen from a distance, they just look so colorful and they please us, don't they? Now, these ornaments are meant to adorn women. They are meant to be worn by women. And here, she is not trying to give a certificate for it. You should not take it in a negative manner, but it's just her emotions coming out. She says that best lives lived by daughters and wives adorn bangles. As in, the daughters and wives who are happy, they love to wear bangles, and that is also not false. At last, she says, bangle sellers are not just selling mere jewelry, they are selling tokens that are symbolic of a woman's life well lived. Now, let me read out the stanza for you once so that you can picture as I go forward. Bangle sellers are who we bear as shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow tinted circles of light? Lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives. For the rhyming scheme, we have A, A, B, B, C, C. Bear, fair, bright, light, lives, wives. All of these are rhyming words you can extract from this stanza. That was all for stanza 1. Now we must move on to stanza 2. In this, we're going to see how Sarojini Naidu beautifully describes the first stage of woman's life, that is maidenhood. With the poetic devices, we have a lot over here. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist. You may not, in many schools, consonance is not taught in detail as it is not as important as alliteration. Now, the sound of M is being constantly repeated in a line and it is prominent. Then we have mountain mist. Consecutively, we are using the sound of M. Then some are flushed like the buds that dream. Here we are using personification and imagery both. While visual imagery persists throughout the poem, certain lines just enhances it. So remember that. Then we have, let's see how she personifies it. Now the word flushed means when one's face becomes reddish pink as a result of strong emotion. So this means she is attributing the characteristic of being full of emotions with buds. Now we know that buds are not capable of showing emotion, but she feels that the color gives them the right to do so. So we're going to see that soon. Let's just discuss the vocabulary here. We've already discussed flushed. Tranquil, it means quiet and peaceful, a very serene environment. Now if you go near a valley, go near a river, you cannot hear anything other than nature. And that sound is not unpleasant to your ears, it's extremely soothing. So that was the essence of tranquil here is. Now the word bro means top of a hill. So you get the thing that tranquil bro is a phrase. Now woodland stream, this means a stream, a river, a lake, a stream of that, a part of that, a section of that is flowing through a forest, which has been referred to as woodland here. Now maiden means an unmarried girl, a girl who is young, naive, she's not entered a mature stage right now. Now mist means usually we see water in the form of particles, small particles floating in the air, which makes it a bit difficult to see. This is usually near rivers. You may have noticed it. Now limpid, it means clear and bright, and glory obviously means beauty. Now let us see the summary. The poetess now begins to advocate colorful bangles to women in different ages. This means that she starts assigning different colors. As per the depth of the color, she suggests that this is best suited for the personality of this kind of a woman, this kind of a girl. She says that silver and blue particularly are best suited to unmarried young girls. Now why so, you may ask? This is because she compares silver and blue to the mountain mist. You know, it's a bit bluish, grayish, the mountains, the mountain mist, the sky in the mountain. Now this represents, as a color, silver and blue, they represent freshness. And not only as a color, if you may see nicely, mountain mist, when you are surrounded by an area which is misty, you will feel a sense of freshness, a sense of tenderness. And that is prevalent in young budding minds of little girls. Now some bangles are red and pink. They are also suited for them because they are symbolic of tender buds growing on the banks of the stream flowing through the forest. Now you may see that buds are the time when flowers have not yet bloomed. They are like closed flowers, closed petals. So now you may see that buds are lined on the banks of the river and they are red and pink in colors. So this shows that young girls, they have dreams, they have aspirations, they have a bit of shyness. They are not yet so familiar with the world. They are not yet so, attracted to materialistic things. Sometimes they are, but mostly they're in a world of their own. And that is represented by buds who are flushed, who are full of emotion, who have a lot of emotional quotient, and that is why it is suited for them. Now, she further explains that as the buds are waiting to bloom, the maidens are also waiting for getting married. And to get married, it means to enjoy the charms of life. Now, some bangles poise blossoming glow of newly sprouted or newborn leaves. This means that when you see a newborn leaf, it is fresh green without any dullness, it is pure green. And that is what represents tenderness, fragility. When a girl is born, she progresses, she is in a maidenhood, she is yet fresh right now. So, green is also suited for them as it represents tenderness and fragility. Right, so now let's see the stanza once, let's read it out. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist. Some are flushed like the buds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. Um, Let us see the rhyming scheme, which is very simple here. A B B C C again. Wrist, mist, dream, stream, cleaves, leaves. All of these are rhyming words. Right, now let us move back to the home page, where we're gonna now move on to stanza 3. For the poetic devices of stanza 3, we have simile used in many sentences. Some are like fields of sunlit corn. We're comparing the fields under the sunlight to the bride. Flame of a marriage fire. Some like the flame of a marriage fire. We're comparing bangles. We're trying to associate a color. So these are the attempts to define the color. Now we have tinkling, luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. We're going to see this in detail and you're going to understand it better. So let's move on to the next poetic device, which is oxymoron. Bridal laughter and bridal tear. Both laughter and tear are coming consecutively in one phrase, which is very contradictory, but at the same time makes a lot of sense. So that is oxymoron. An alliteration, hue of her heart's desire. The sound of H is being repeated. For the word meanings, we have mourn. Now, often you confuse it with mourn, grief. That is not it. That is something else. MOURN. That is mourning. This is mourning. So, on the morning of the wedding is the bridal morn. Then we have hue, which means the color of a particular shade, and tender means delicate. Now, for this stanza, we will on summary. Let's see. A bridal wears bright golden bangles on her wedding day. These bangles are compared to the fields of corn. Now, when you see, if you have ever observed that on a field, on a vast plain of land where corn is grown, if you see light falling on those corn, it looks very pleasant. It looks like a golden color. So this is what sunlit corn means. Lit in the light of the sun. Now, the golden bangles symbolize prosperity and happiness and are perfect for a bride. So the gold here symbolizes prosperity, wealth, and this then gives happiness. So this is perfect for a bride. Then we have the second color, which is vibrant, fiery, red, orangish color that is similar to the marriage flame. Now the marriage flame here is not just a fire lit up. What's the significance of this? This flame, this fire, it signifies passion. It signifies the passion and sanctity, the purity present in a woman's heart when she's getting married. Her dreams that she's going to make a better world out of her family, she's going to nurture her children perfectly, she's going to be a very good mother. All of these begin to build up as she is taking rounds, which we call fairas, around that fire. So that fire has a lot of importance in Indian culture. Now, they also reflect her deep emotions. Then the rich hues represent her dreams, hopes, and love. She doesn't give up on her dreams when she goes into a marriage. She holds on to her dreams and even creates furthermore. Now, you may have noticed in any ceremony, when the bride is moving, a tinkling sound. When the bangles they collide with each other, they touch each other, they produce a tinkling, a very gentle tinkling sound. Now, this sound also has a very tender effect. So this shows that the bangles are delicate. They are clear, which indicate the purity of the bride indeed. So now every characteristic of the bangles are associated with those of the brides. Just like the bangles, the bride also is clear and pure. Her heart is not malice. Now we have bangles are likened to the bride's emotions on her wedding day. So they are encompassing her joyful laughter and emotional tears. This highlights sentimentality associated with marriage. Marriage is not just a play, it is a big deal. It is a very, very big task involving a lot of emotional activity, more than physical activity, I would say. So that was all for stanza 3. Let us read it. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on her bridal morn. Some like the flame of a marriage fire, or rich with the hue of her heart's desire, tinkling luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. So that was all for the stanza 3. We should now move on to stanza 4. Now, we over here have the responsibility a mother bears. So, this is a much more mature stage of her life, of a woman's life. So, we have alliteration used in who has, whose hands have, her household, and her husband's sides. Now, you may take anyone you like as a majority and put it in your exam when they use the question, where is alliteration used. Then we have anaphora. Anaphora, here and is being repeated again and again in 3 lines consecutively. So this is what anaphora is. For the word meanings, here we have a lot of important vocabulary words. Flecked, which means marked with streaks and spots. Now if you see that, imagine a bangle and a few stripes of black on it. Maybe you have purple background and few stripes of white on it. So that those stripes, those thin stripes are flecked there. So that's what the concept is. Now cherish means to love someone and look after him or her. Cradle means to hold someone gently, especially supporting with arms. We cradle a child, cradle a newborn child, isn't it? Now fair means just and fair. Mind it. Here it means 2 things, with light complexion and just and fair, justice. We're gonna see this. Now that was for the vocabulary words. Now we have the summary. Bangles, which are combination of purple and gold with flecks of grey, they symbolize dignity, richness and maturity. So purple here signifies richness. It also signifies maturity. All of these colors combined are a perfect example or are a perfect description of a woman's emotion at that time. Now when we see particularly every other color, purple and gold represent wisdom and wealth. Grey here represents age. Now as you may see this as a common phenomena in your household, people go like baal safed ho rahe hain, you're getting old. So that is what we mean here. Grey is a universal symbolic agent of age, but with age comes experience. Remember that. These bangles are meant for women who are halfway through the journey of life, suggesting their middle age. Their middle age was met with a significant array of experiences. With these experiences, a woman learns how to care. She learns the importance of love, and that is what she showers on everybody. So now the woman's hands have cherished and cared for others, for her family, for her love, for her kids, for her elders. This highlights the nurturing nature of a woman and how she leaves a positive impact of affection on everybody and everything. Nothing that she touches goes waste or turns negatively. She has lovingly raised her sons, holding them close to her heart. Fair sons here suggest that these children are dear and cherished, and therefore they do not lack empathy at all. They will always take just decisions in their life because they have been nurtured properly. Now, faithful breast here emphasizes that her dedication and loyalty as a mother is never compromised. She takes pride in the household chores and performs them successfully. This underscores or this highlights her sense of responsibility and fulfillment in managing her home. She completes every task with perfection. She participates in religious worships. Now here we see a Hindu side of the poem because Sarojini Naidu is from India. Not only Hindu, you may say, any religion. She participates in religious worships alongside her husband, indicating her spiritual devotion and partnership with her family members. Right, so that was all for the poem. Soon you will be able to see notes on this chapter in PDF forms. In the next video, we're going to discuss a few important question answers, and I'm going to drop a PDF if you want. So please like and share to the channel if you like it, and do not forget to subscribe the channel if you found the video to be helpful. Also, please press the bell icon so that you're notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you very much.